For those who are new, my name is Ed Troxel. I'm Ed Troxel Creative, and I'm your creative consultant. I help you think outside the box, and I help motivate and inspire you to do better in your business. My first business was creating a magazine, so a little background story on that. It was called Mix It Up Magazine, and this is the first issue that I created. Yes, it's in print, and yes, I know it's crazy to do print. This is back in 2008. So I know it was crazy to do print then, and it's crazy to do print now. But because it was my first business, and I wanted to get the full circle, I wanted to know and do everything with it. I knew I needed to have print. So basically, what I did was I printed a magazine. I ran it for 2 years. I did 4 issues. This one, which is right behind me, is the first issue that I created. They were both print and online. What I wanted to do was talk a little bit about starting or running your business and reminding you of why you're doing it. So when I started Mix It Up Magazine, which designed and hired a designer at the time who got all of my ideas and thoughts out and on paper, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I figured, if I can't go to New York and work for Men's Health magazine, I might as well stay here in wine country and create my own magazine. And I was doing this, mind you, while I was in school towards my senior year of college, as well as working 2 part-time jobs. So yes, it's a lot of work starting and running your own business, but if you're passionate about it and it's something you feel is right, it is totally worth it, guys. I've done that before and I'm doing it again. And that's why I wanted to scope tonight, because as I was going through my old YouTube channel for Mix It Up Magazine, which I'm starting to incorporate those videos in my portfolio that you'll see live on edtroxelcreative.com in the coming days, maybe a week, you'll see on there the different videos that I had, whether I was actually creating them or it was when I put on the concert where we had Thriving Ivory, who was VH1's top hit at the time, the #1 hit. They were my inspiration, and they were cool. They were great. They were on the top of my list for interviewing. I got them to be on the cover of the magazine, and this is by going back to the MySpace days. So whoever remembers MySpace, hit it up in the chat there. Raise your hand, put a thumbs up, whatever. But MySpace days. So that's really when social media was starting, right? And with that, I ended up getting connected. Real quick backstory on that, because it was really interesting. The way I got connected with these guys was through MySpace. I randomly, right before Christmas, hit them up on their MySpace. I got in contact with their manager, who was out in New York. He said, let me know when New Year's is passed so that way we can talk and see what happens. One thing led to another, right time, right place, and it just develops from there. And I was able to get them to be on the cover of my magazine. We did a concert together. I threw a big concert at Sonoma State University out in Rohnert Park. It was fantastic. And everything just kept falling into place. So it was awesome. So fast forward to today, right? I'm sitting there trying to build the portfolio, and I'm looking back at all these YouTube videos that I had, which just are mind-blowing that it even happened, and that all these different videos I still had to show really what I did. Because when you're in the moment, when you're running your business or you're starting the business, your mind is all over the place. You are constantly thinking, I got to do this, I got to do that, this is here, what's that, what am I learning, how am I going to hire, how am I going to delegate, what am I supposed to delegate, how much am I supposed to charge? Like, you have so many things going on in your head that you don't have time to stop and reflect on, oh yeah, I created this magazine with actual content, with pictures, with businesses in there, with volunteer trips that we took, with all this extra content. It's crazy to stop and think about that. We had parties, we had release parties, we had a concert. Like I said, we threw a big concert. This first issue was actually printed and brought to the first concert that Thriving Ivory had at the Petaluma Concert Theater. I literally had got them from the press on the way to the event, like maybe 30 minutes prior for them going on stage. We literally were unboxing these and popping them out and giving them to everyone. It was amazing work. So now I have this time to reflect back on things, and I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, wow, like that was hustle. I was hungry. I was getting work done. I was making it happen. I was on that success train. Get on there, be hungry, and go for what works for you. Basically, what I was looking at was the YouTube videos and looking back and thinking, wow, I can't believe I did all of this. And now, fast forward to today again, running my own business, working with clients, learning, trying to figure out what things I want to take on versus what things I want to delegate to someone else. And it reminded me that we have to stop and pause and think about why are we doing it and what is in it for us, and if we should continue doing it. Because there's a lot of you out there who are either starting your own business or running your business, and that's going to come up more than once where you're not sure how you feel about it and if you should keep going or when you should stop and all of that. Really listen to your heart, listen to what you're doing. Take a moment to reflect on what you've done, not necessarily what you have to do. Stop looking at the to-do list for a second and look at the to-done list, if that even makes sense. But look at your done list, because it really, really, really reflects off of what you've done. And we're always so in the moment or what we need to do that we don't look back on what we've done and what we've accomplished. So that's really the message I want you guys to get out there and to really reflect on. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many hours that you can fit things in, and we feel down and out if we don't get everything on our to-do list done, or if we aren't, checking things off or adding things to the list. So just take a look at what you've done and what you've accomplished. I mean, heck, I put out 4 of these and did some concerts and did a lot of traveling, and then that led to the next thing. And now that's led me to this new business where I'm your creative consultant. I'm helping you think outside the box. I'm doing business coaching. I'm doing social media for you. I'm helping you with your website. All of that. It's fun. I have a blast doing it, and that's why I love what I do. And that's why I don't consider it work, because it's something that I love to do and I'm passionate about it. And I know in my heart that that's where it's at. And that's why I'm hungry, and that's why I'm on that success train, and that's why I am pushing forward to keep going and to keep moving things in the right direction. There's a couple videos that I'm catching up on, previous scopes. Hillary has got some great stuff. If you haven't taken a look at hers, definitely should check her out. I've been tweeting about her on Twitter lately, so if you're following me, you'll see her handle there. As well as check out some of her great videos that she has still up available for you guys. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. I hope that helped. I hope that helps inspire and motivates you guys to keep doing it. Keep pushing towards what you want. You'll feel it, trust me, because I got to tell you, stopping the magazine was a tough call. I wasn't sure when and how it was going to end. Again, I knew that after 2 years and 4 copies and all of the things that I've done, I knew that it did what it was supposed to. It wasn't supposed to go any further. I could always pick it back up and do it again. I had everything. The groundwork was there for me. I have the banners. I have the t-shirts I made. I got everything. So I literally went out of it thinking I could pick it up at any time if I ever needed to and do it again and pick up where I left off. But I knew at that time it was the right time for me to stop doing that, because it led into the next thing, and then from there it just kept rolling into where I'm at today. So you'll know in your heart where you're at and what you're doing. Thank you for those hearts. And you'll know exactly when the right time is. And if you're not quite sure, keep pushing forward and keep feeling it out and seeing where you're at. And again, reflect. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Don't think so much about what's on the to-do list, what you got to do today and tomorrow and the next day, but pause and reflect on what you've done and how you got to where you're at. Because that's really what determines your success, and that determines whether or not you're into it and what you're going to be doing for the future. So just keep that in mind and really reflect and share that out with people and talk to people. Just be able to engage with others, and that's the whole point of social media, right? That's the whole point of this, why we talk to each other, why we get on here and scope. Yes, it's vulnerable. You're vulnerable. Yes, you're talking to a device, but you get to interact with people. So I may be talking to you, but there's all of you guys here watching where you can interact with each other and you can start making new friends. That's what I've been doing on all these other channels with Nicole, Shalene, Hillary now, Ethan. There's a few great ones that I'm always constantly on. Kim's Scope. All of them have great dialogues going. Not only them talking to you, but you really get to connect with all the people in the chat room, and you start recognizing names, and then you start getting into a conversation with each other while all these other conversations are going on. So it's a blast. So just be sure to take time to enjoy where you're at, what you've done, and where you could go. That's another key point too. When you take a pause and you reflect on what you've done and where you're at, that also will lead to the next step for you and help you decide where to go from there. So just keep that in mind. I love it. Writing a book, that is awesome. So I love when people write books. I am working on a book myself. Who knows if it will ever get published or ever done, because it's one of those side projects where it's like, okay, I'm just going to write a book about my life and we'll just keep all these chapters. And I think I live a pretty interesting life, and I've done a lot, and I've gone a lot of places, and I've had a lot of different experiences that I just want to share that out. And so writing a book is great. I use Evernote for making my notes in there. So I'll have a notebook. It's organized by notebooks. So I have a notebook with my book title, and then each time I want to add an entry, it's just a new note within that book. And so at the end of the day, when I finally get things together, I can pull it all together, have somebody edit it, really develop the story, because I really don't want to sit there and write every single detailed sentence forever. I want the bullet points and then have somebody be able to put the pieces together for me on that one, because I got too many other things that I'm trying to do and work on. So writing a book is great. You got to find what you're passionate about, what you enjoy spending your time doing, because really that's what matters, right? Because your time's valuable, and you being able to take the time to do something is huge, and that means that you're interested. The fact that you're actually here paying attention to Periscope, watching my scope, watching someone else's scope, whatever it may be, you're making the time to do that and to be available, which is huge, and I totally appreciate that. And I really do hope that every time we jump into a scope together, that it's bringing value to you and that you're getting something out of it, because that's the whole point. That's my mission, is to make you feel more comfortable and more motivated and inspired to do something different or more, and whatever it may be. My grandpa wrote 5 bestsellers. Nice. He left some stuff out. Evernote. So it's Evernote. It's a green app with an elephant on there. And I will say, having grandpa stories is awesome. I am a huge, huge fan of having stories be told from people that are older than us, right? Our grandparents, things of that generation, people of that generation. I really, really love hearing stories like that, because let's face it, we all have a story to tell. We all live interesting lives. No one's the same. And to hear stories from people who have been here before us, it's pretty interesting to me. So I really do enjoy those. And that could be a cool Periscope too, guys. Think about it. If you're really wanting to write a book and you want to get some video content, this is just, brain fire right here, but you can take that and apply it to here. So now you can start doing a scope. Maybe if your grandparents are around still, you can interview them on live here, save that video for later. Speaking of books, I had my grandparents, actually it's pretty cool. I had my grandma, who actually wrote a book before she passed for me, handwritten with pictures and everything about her time in the war with Germany, having Hitler and the Nazis around, and then diving into how she got to America and how she had my mom, and the list goes on, and it's awesome. So then I forced my mom to write a book, because I was like, okay, I got my grandma's, I want your story. I need your story. So after a little bit of pushing, I got her to write hers, and it was awesome. Got my dad to do one as well. So now I have 3 books just from them combined with mine. So I get to see what life was like before me and after me now. And it's just, to me, that's really cool, and it really brings something special to the table. And that's what would be included in my book if it ever gets fully written or published. So that's the cool part, is just being able to connect with each other and connect with your friends and family and just talk, have a conversation and develop the story, and then think about what you want to write, because it's really cool when you start telling your stories. That's why I started Mix It Up Magazine, guys. Like I said, I couldn't move to New York at the time to go to Men's Health. That was like my dream job at the time. I was going to move to New York, work at Men's Health Fitness. That was the only magazine I ever read, and I just wanted to be there in their offices, working the job there, and just having that city lifestyle, which would have been amazing, right? Well, because at the time I was going to school here and I had work here, to me it made no sense to go do that for a chance to work there. So I ended up just creating it here, and I can't tell you how much fun this was. I mean, you probably can tell already from the scope and from the videos that I'll start having to post in my portfolio, but the fact is, I got to partner with so many friends and family and strangers on creating this magazine, and it was a blast. And the magazine, for those who aren't familiar with it, covered everything. So I wanted a magazine that was going to work for men and women, and it was mostly geared towards the older crowd, so 25 to 45. I mean, really anybody could pick up the magazine and get something out of it. I wanted to cover health, fitness, work, education, volunteering, and traveling, just because that's what I like to do. I like to be well-rounded. I want to be more available for other things and my eyes open to the world. And so that's what Mix It Up Magazine was all about. And when people picked up the first issue, I got so many compliments on the fact, and they kind of apologized because they thought that it was a little insulting, but they're like, this is actually a real magazine. This is good. Like, I'm surprised. Don't be offended. And I was like, I'm not. Like, I know it's good, and I appreciate that you can see that too. We worked hard on it, but that all came from my ideas and reading a book. I'll tell you one thing. Nolo Press. If you're looking for legal advice, and again, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but if you're looking for legal advice in books, Nolo is the best. They are industry standard for a lot of people, and they are great. You can pick them up at your library. You can buy them on Amazon, anything like that. In fact, I'll put a link in my Amazon store for you guys in case you're wanting to browse what the book was that I used. It's Nolo. I'll have it in the link. Nolo, I think it is. Nolo. If you do type it into Google, it should pop up. Or if you got dictation or Siri, just say Nolo, and it should pop up. But what's great is they have it for everything. I mean, starting a business. Mine was starting and running a magazine and newsletter. And as I was reading the book, my ideas started to develop. And I'm like, yes, I could do that. Let's try that. And it just was a snowball effect, and it just kept going and going from there. So that's how it really started for me. And then I just utilized my resources and found people that were interested, found stories that were interesting. I came up with a lot of story ideas, and I just needed people to write them who wanted exposure. Guys, I didn't make any money off of this, let me tell you. None. I mean, maybe with the t-shirts I made a few bucks off of that, but at the end of the day, money went out the door. I'll be honest. But guess what? It didn't matter because I got something that was tangible. I made it happen. I got the experience. I got to meet people. I got to do a lot of things that I would have never done, and it led me to the next job and led me to where I'm at today, and the experience that I got is priceless. So the fact that I didn't make any money off of it, nothing. At the end of the 2 years after doing the magazine, I knew what money I had spent, and I knew what money I needed to put back in the bank. So I made it a goal, and I paid it off in 2 years after that. So it's just being aware and, again, reflecting on that. Ready to buy a printing press to publish. Nice. So yeah, Cheryl, I'll have that in Scope School so you guys can check it out, and hopefully that will help. I will try to put that into Scope School tonight. Again, for those who just joined, Scope School is on my website, edtroxelcreative.com. There's a tab called Scope School. That's where I put these scopes. I mostly just upload this video. So here's my process. Let me start over. So when you go to Scope School, you'll see there's different posts, every time I do a Periscope video, I upload it to my device, or save it to my camera roll. I upload it to YouTube so that it can be found if people are on YouTube. I don't point you to YouTube though. I point you to my website because that's where all the information is. It should be your one-stop shop. Just like my magazine was a one-stop shop, that's what my website is. So I upload it to YouTube, then I embed the video over in Scope School under a new post for you to be able to find and be able to see not only the whole video, you know, as I continue to grow and do more, I'm going to start chopping it up into smaller pieces, but right now there's just so much going on that I just wanted to make sure to get the video up there, and I figure since it's a YouTube video, you guys can fast forward to whatever part you want quick. So I embed it on the website there, and then I also list resources that I've covered in there. So you guys have a great night. I hope you have fun the rest of your weekend. You still have tomorrow, Sunday, and we'll try to tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day, though, so we'll see what happens. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, enjoy your Sunday afternoon, and we'll see you on Monday, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.